Here's a wild thought. Transformers Generations has been going on for over 12 years now. And yet, the best deluxe they ever did might have been in their very first wave. From the first year of Transformers Generations, this is Drift, who would have just debuted in IDW in All Hail Megatron. This was a very quick turnaround from showing up in the comic to getting a toy, and it's pretty spectacular. Unlike Nautica and so many other great characters, Drift actually got an entirely new mold, and it was a mold that kind of put some of the other characters to shame, really. I mean, just look at this car. Absolutely gorgeous, with painted rims. It rolls like a champ. You have these great curves throughout, and I'm sure that you've noticed the kanji here. For years, I thought that meant drift, but I had people comment on the many toys of that tell me that actually means samurai. I'm not too sure. I hope that's what that means, because I always thought it was kind of douchey for him to have his own name on there. But even without that, I love this. Like the swoosh. It's such a great looking car. It reminds me a lot of G1 Jazz, in that you look at it and it's like, not only is that a cool car in real life, but also as a toy, it feels good. It feels like, yeah, I want to play with that thing. Look at the colors. You also have this great detail. Because of the foot transformation, it actually looks like there are seats behind the windshield. It's very subtle, but very, very nice. Drift has so much going for him, and we're just talking about the car mode. Where he shines is the robot mode. Now, I am not a big fan of doing on-screen transformations, but Drift is a pretty old toy, and he's a very good toy, so I'm going to try it. What I always do is I'm just going to open up the doors first, like so. Boop. And now we're going to fold out the whole back half. Again, kind of like Jazz and Prowl. But what's different is that we're going to break them. And then from here, you're going to just rotate this around. This component that makes up these chair-looking things. Rotate it down if you can. If I can get it. It sticks just a bit. Here, I'm going to go ahead and roll out the knees. And then, okay, yep, you got to roll out the knees first. So roll out the knees. Boop. And then bring in the feet. Boop. And then if you're watching what I'm doing here, as you bring it over, you're going to bring it up. Come on. Come on. There we go. It does fight me just a little bit. There's an automorph in Drift's legs. The automorph is getting very old and having a hard time doing what it needs to do. But that gets us the legs. Here in the upper body, you're actually going to notice that the wings, or the doors, are going to become the sheaths for his swords. And you can go ahead and flip out the handles, because you actually don't even have to remove the swords from this guy. That's pretty great. I'm going to lean up the camera a bit. You're seeing more and more why I don't do on-screen transformations. Oh, I need a lot more space than that. Okay. And then up here in the upper body, we're just going to break the hood. Come on. Just get away from each other. There we go. And then fold this bit over on top, like so. And then we're just going to fold these guys around. This is going to come up to be the chest. And then from the shoulders, we're going to just swing the arms down. That is an incredible transformation. And look at the guy it gets us. Jesus Christ, he doesn't even look like a Generations toy. He looks like a nice high-end third-party guy. Drift has always had an amazing design. It kills me. It doesn't kill me. It tickles me that they captured it so well at the first attempt. I mean, that head sculpt is so dashing. He looks so noble. I love everything about it. And then you look at the rest of the body, and it's sculpted, painted to the nines. You have amazing deco hits throughout the entire form. The articulation's killer. All the kibble goes to places where it doesn't really get in the way, and it gives him a great, unique silhouette. The only issue I have is the hands are a little bit, square. But I can live with that. When that's my one nitpick, it kind of shows just how great the toy is. Just going through the articulation, you have a ball joint here at the head that's somewhat tight. He doesn't get a lot of up and down. You have a ball joint at the shoulder. You have an upper arm cut, a double jointed elbow. That kibble does get into the way of just because of this tire, but you can still make it work. Ball joint at the wrist. You have nothing at the waist, even though it does look like there's a waist cut there. But you can get the sheaths to move out of the way, so you can make use of the ball joint at the hip. A really nice single jointed knee there. And then down here at the feet, there's nothing really except for toe tilt, but the feet are so wide, he can have a good standing base. So, you might have noticed two things. One, he doesn't have numerically that many points of articulation, but what he does have works a treat. Two, almost all of that articulation's ball joints. That means that drift can get very loose over time. You need to be careful with your drift. My drift, thankfully, is really nice and solid. The only issue I'm having is the automorph breaking down in the feet. But things like the shoulders and the hips and the wrists, those can become loose if you play with him too much. It's the sad reality of ball joints. They give you great articulation. They're not great for staying that great, though. So, paint's good, articulation's good, transformation's good, car's good. What if I told you the accessories are also really good? So his main thing is his great sword. This thing is supposed to get power directly from his spark. You are able to store it in the vehicle mode. That said, the sword is made of a very soft plastic. That's a great way to warp it. In fact, you can see mine is warped because it was stored with it in the vehicle mode. Even still, I'm going to put it just here. And what's great is, there's so much articulation here. This is one of the few Transformers that can actually hold their sword with both hands. And then you just immediately are able to get him into a great-looking pose. Look at that. Looking like he's about to go up against Aku. And that's just one of his swords. Let's say that he's fighting, and then he loses the sword somehow. Oh no, it's been knocked out of his hands. Well, guess what? Bop. And bop. These swords come out of the sheaths like absolute champs. And in all honesty, I think they look even better. I like these tiny swords a whole lot more. I think he looks great in dual-wielding poses. But of course, his iconic sword is the big sword, so you gotta work it in somehow. Posing this guy is an absolute delight. You don't even have to try to get him to some great action poses. Drift has so much going for him. If I were to make a list about the greatest Generations toys, even all these years later, Drift would probably be near the top of the list, if he isn't the top of the list. The one issue I have with Drift is he's so great, but he doesn't really blend in with any aesthetic of Transformer. If you put him with the toys that were coming out at the same time, they're all basically a bunch of classics in universe repaints. If you put him with the line that came out directly after, he's with the Fall of Cybertron toys that are way smaller, way less painted. You put him with the modern stuff, he's a bit too large. You put him with the Siege stuff, he's a bit too colorful. This guy is so good that he actually makes the rest of the toy line look kind of bad in comparison. Like, the best thing you could do is put him with some Mastermind Creations or Flames Toys model kits, because at least then, there's a comparable amount of engineering and paint amongst him and his peers. Speaking of, here he is alongside my Flame Toys Rodimus model kit. They look great together. Obviously this Rodimus doesn't transform, but hey, if you're going for that Lost Light feeling, these two are great. You put them with the Combiner Wars Magnus, it's even better. My only issue with this Drift is I don't think there's a good Ratchet to go with him. To get a good IDW Ratchet, we would need one that has the red helmet. But the only version of that would be Universe Ratchet, who is a bit terrible. You have other good Ratchets, but Siege Ratchet doesn't look good with him. SS-86 Ratchet at least looks nice, but they're not exactly what I'd want. Even still, I'm happy putting these two together. They're about the right size for each other. It feels okay. If you're in the market for this Drift, you're going to be spending a pretty penny. He goes for nearly $100 because he's really good, and there hasn't really been a toy to come and replace him. Even the really nice initial D-Car Mastermind Creations Drift, he's masterpiece scale. For the Generation scale, this is still the only option for a Drift, really. And he's a really good one, which is why he's so expensive. That said, if you're able to get this Drift or his remold Blur, both of them are incredible toys. Blur is very solid, and I would more than recommend him if you're just interested in checking out the body. But if you want the boy himself, you're going to be forking up a pretty penny to get Drift.